Lying becomes a job at some point. Having to remember who you lied to and what you lied about. This usually gets to be a bit more complex as things continue on, because one lie normally leads to what? Another lie, which at times can lead to another lie. And all this can lead to a bit of anxiousness in our lives, because every time we see that person that we told that lie to, it pops up in our head. What did I say to them exactly? What do I need to remember here? And at times, all of a sudden, people start to avoid you because of the lie. Of course, lies can at times run their course, and the truth does come out, providing a whole other set of issues that will have to be addressed and dealt with. Relationships that will need to be restored, trust that needs to be regained. Now, as we know in the first place, trust can be hard to get, but it is certainly easy to lose, is it not? Almost impossible to get back at times. You see, telling the truth is a much simpler way to live, but you didn't hear me say that it was easy. Much simpler way to live, but I'm not saying it's the easiest way to live. No, I'm telling you that it can certainly be extremely hard to tell the truth. Listen, if telling the truth and nothing but the truth was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? But the truth is, with this, is that truth and keeping your word may mean at times that you don't get your way. So many times we tell somebody only the parts of the truth that kind of slide things into our favor for what we want, and we leave out some other crucial pieces of the truth that would hinder them from getting their way. I think some people may be very methodical in doing just that, and I think others, honestly, don't even know that's what they're doing, because honestly, that's just what our world trains us to do. Telling the truth, again, it's a much simpler way to live, but it isn't the easiest way, because it may mean you experiencing some negative consequences. Your wife comes to you and says, "Does this dress make me look fat?" That is a dangerous question. Listen, there's a lot more serious questions that we get asked. And telling the truth at times can put us in a bad light, especially in this world that we live in. You know, I knew that my dad drove for a living, and there was a way to cook the books, so to speak, back in the day. And people that rode, they did teams, and people that rode with him realized that, you know what, he just was going to tell the truth. And you know what that meant? That meant that people didn't want to ride with him. You know what that meant? I mean, he couldn't make as much money, because team was where you made the more of the money. Now, I'm just saying to us that telling the truth isn't going to be easy. It may mean at times that you'll have to work harder, that you'll have to sacrifice something to be able to follow through with what you promised. How many times have we promised somebody something and something else came up? For us, maybe it was something that was even better. Something that actually in business might have been something that would make me even more money. And at that point, I have to ask myself, we have to ask ourselves, which is more important? Making a bit more money, or having the integrity of saying, I am a person of my word? Now, telling the truth, keeping your word, it's hard. I'm just here to say this, it's worth it. It's worth it to be known as that person who tells the truth. Because I will tell you this, it is a simpler life. I hear people all the time talk about hearkening back to the days before cell phones. Oh, hello. I just slashed off a few of you, all right? So I realize that's old people in here, all right? We can remember a time before cell phones. Phones had a cord to them. What? What in the world? I saw a magazine the other day, and it was online, of course, and it was talking about why would there be this little cove in this wall. Right away, I knew what that was for. That's where you put the phone, and so they had just cleaned out wherever the cord was at that time. But I'll tell you what, people hearken back for the times when it was easier. And I see people even who are younger, much younger as a matter of fact, even teenagers at times, that choose to just sign out of social media at times. Why? Because they just want to get away from all of the drama, all of the different things that people talk about and lie about and say things that certainly leave people looking like they are horrible, horrible people in the midst of them just trying to live the best life possible. And so for each of us, I just know this, if you want a simpler life, then do this. Tell the truth. Keep your word. Not easier life, but definitely a simpler life. Again, back to Jesus, when what he says in verse 37, he says, all you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. The second thing that I'd point out to you, it's not just simple living, but holy living, right? Being set apart, being known as somebody who is set apart for God, a devotion to him. Meaning this, that we never allow ourselves to let the evil one in. One of the biggest lies that's ever told is a little lie isn't a big deal. It sounds right. I mean, it's just a little lie. We even have terms for them, right, that make them sound better. Little white lies, right? White usually is reserved for purity. That this is, as crazy as it sounds, true. This little white lie. It's not so bad. You just don't want to tell those big whopper of lies. I guess those dark lies, right? Those are lies you want to stay away from. But as I said before, so many times one lie opens us up to another lie. And why is that? It's because it opens us up in ways in which we never would have imagined or wanted. Jesus says that if you can't just say yes or no and mean it, you are opening yourself up to the evil one. Since this is where this line of thinking comes from in the first place, right? Jesus, speaking of the devil in John 8, says this, you belong to your father the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and the father of lies. Pastor Carlo said here recently that the devil can't make you do it, and that is a true statement. But he does his best to have an effect upon your life. The Bible says in 1 Peter 5:8, be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. You see, the evil one is doing his very best to move you away from the Lord and away from his ways. It is true that the devil can't be everywhere at all times, but he and his evil spirits along with him are looking for their next victim. The evil one knows that if he can just get you to move away from the Lord, even in the smallest of ways, that all of a sudden a door begins to crack open. that can eventually swing open, that isn't easy to close. Think about it. What's the difference between a shut and a locked door versus a door that's just got a little bit of a cracked open just a little bit, and an intruder approaches? A locked, shut door makes it pretty difficult for that person to get in. A door that's cracked open, all of a sudden, it's going to be your might versus their might. No help from the locking mechanism itself. You see, I've seen numerous TV shows and movies, maybe too many, granted, but all of a sudden you see them talking, and they're talking at a door, and the door's not fully open, but it's open enough to be able to talk with the other person. And all of a sudden the person inside realizes, hey, I'm in a bit of danger here. I really just don't want to talk to this person anymore. And they go to shut the door, and what does that person do? They just stick their foot in, and they don't allow the door to shut. Now, I'm just saying this to you. Don't give the devil a foothold in your life. Live a life that's set apart for the Lord, one that is holy. This means being truthful at all times. This means following through what you have said you would do. It certainly will be tough at times, but you can still stand in the face of adversity. Don't allow yourself to be devoured by the evil one, having your life ruined by his evil schemes. And let's face it, we've all seen the effects of lying in our lives. Whether it's lies that you've told and the aftermath that came from that, or honestly, the lies that have been told to you and the aftermath that has taken place. You see, lives are definitely at stake. The quality of one's life, their relationship with the Lord, their relationship with everyone else around them is at stake. Being honest, keeping your word, while not the easy path to life, it is definitely something that brings a simpler life and brings into effect holiness into a person's life as well. And not only does this make a difference for you, it makes a difference for everyone around you. To be able to trust that what you have said is true. None more important than in a world that so many times dismisses who Jesus Christ is. Whether he even exists at all, for you to be known as a person of truth, of somebody who never wavers, never succumbs to even a little white lie. They're much more able to respect what you have to say about who Jesus Christ is. Much more willing to listen to you share about your faith in Jesus Christ. They've got to be thinking to themselves, they don't lie in anything else. And they may not believe you, but they certainly will believe that you believe it. And it has to cause some doubt about their direction in life because of how truthful and honest you've always been in everything else. All you need to say is simply yes or no. May your yes be yes and your no be no, because it makes a huge difference, not just about who you are. It makes a huge difference about who the God is that you serve to everyone else around you. And so as we've been talking about through this entire series, may we raise the bar yet again in another area of our life. Yes, this is what the world does, but this is what Jesus has called us in this life that we have in him.